Three ordinary people, living ordinary lives, until something from the other side broke through. These aren't urban legends. These are true stories of the Jinn. Terrifying, unexplainable, and they happened when no one was watching. Welcome to Shadow and Silence, the channel that turns your fears into stories. In this episode, you'll hear three horrifying tales, all based on real events. A cursed house where the walls whisper back. A forbidden forest where Jinn roam freely. A family torn apart by demonic forces no one can see. These stories have one thing in common. Once they begin, they never truly end. Put on your headphones and pray it's only a story. It's considered one of the strangest stories of Jinn. Despite its strangeness, it is said that once upon a time there was an old house in a village. It belonged to a wealthy family. After the family died, however, the house became deserted, and people began calling it the haunted house. Many stories of Jinn were spread around it, to the point that many people avoided passing by. One day, a young man decided to buy the house, renovate it, and live there. This brave young man didn't believe stories of Jinn or anything related to them. However, when he first entered the house, he felt a strange feeling in his chest. There was an old smell in the air, and the house seemed to hold its own mysterious secrets. The young man ignored all of this and began renovating the house. However, he soon began to feel strange things happening around him. Doors would open and close by themselves, and he would hear strange noises, especially at night, which would increase in intensity. At first, the young man thought these things were caused by the wind, or perhaps animals inhabiting the house, as it was an old building. But he soon realized that something even stranger was happening, and he had to find out by any means necessary. As soon as he made this decision, one day he found an old book in one of the rooms. The book was written in a completely foreign language. Despite this, the young man felt there was something important in it. Strangely, as soon as he decided to read the book, he began reading it verbatim, even though it was in a language he didn't know at all. He soon discovered that the house was inhabited by a Jinn. It was a powerful and beautiful Jinn who had lived in the house for centuries. This Jinn loved the royal family who lived in the house and tried to protect them at all times from any danger. However, after the family's death, the Jinn felt lonely and angry. The young man began talking to the Jinn and soon discovered that the Jinn was a kind Jinn. He confided in the young man about his desire to help him renovate the house, fearing that it might harm him. The young man gave him permission to do whatever he wanted, and the two men began working together. Soon, the house became a beautiful and comfortable place. Over time, a friendship developed between them. The young man visited the genie every day and talked to him about his life and problems. The young man hadn't yet moved into his new home. The genie listened attentively, even offering advice and solutions. Eventually, the young man became an integral part of the genie's family. The young man, for his part, felt grateful to the genie for helping him in many ways. He knew full well that his life had changed for the better since he'd spoken to the genie. It is said that there was a large forest in a quiet village, and this forest was notorious for the presence of Jinn. People were too afraid to even go near it, and so they called it the Cursed Forest. One day, a girl named Sarah decided to enter the forest, hoping to break the curse. Everyone around her spoke of her bravery. Sarah was bold and didn't believe in Jinn stories. As soon as she stepped inside, she felt a strange grip on her heart, a heavy weight on her body, a numbness that crept through her limbs, and a chill she couldn't explain. There was a disturbing, unbearable smell in the air. Sarah realized something terrible was about to happen, and she deeply regretted ever coming. Suddenly, without warning, she heard a strange voice behind her. It sounded like a man's voice, but distorted, dark, soul-sucking. She turned, trembling, and saw something she could never have imagined. Towering over her stood a Jinn, tall beyond belief, smiling wickedly. Its eyes were glowing blood red. She tried to run, but it pulled her toward it without even touching her. She realized then She was the judgment. She wanted to scream for help, to beg for mercy, but her mouth wouldn't open, sealed shut. Then suddenly, just moments later, she found herself in her bed at home, with her parents leaning over her trying to wake her up. To this day, Sarah doesn't know what happened. Was it just a nightmare? Or had she truly stepped into something ancient and terrifying? Something still watching from the cursed forest? I began to reflect on what I had seen, linking it to my mother's condition. How could she, barely able to move, suddenly return to normal just because I experienced something from another world? The questions echoed in my mind, with no answers. My thoughts were shattered by my father's voice, asking me to bring his phone. I remembered the horrifying moment I had just lived and hesitated, so I asked my brother Hazim to go upstairs instead. Hazim didn't argue, he just went. But 10 minutes passed and still, no sign of him. I grabbed Marwa by the hand and we called up the stairs. No response. We climbed up, our hearts racing. There he was, pale, frozen next to the same sofa. The one where our mother had stood before her terrifying transformation. In his hand, the phone. Yet he whispered, confused. I couldn't find it. Marwa hugged him, but I looked toward the sofa. The nails, the sounds, all the same as before. But no one else could see or hear it. Only me. 3 days later, the tension reached a breaking point. A new sheikh was due to arrive. Uncle Allah exploded in rage. A new sheikh every day? This is madness. My father, desperate. Then tell me what to do. I just want to save my wife. Uncle Allah shouted, "There's nothing wrong with her." And in a horrifying moment, he struck her. That day split us apart. Uncle Allah in one corner, furious and cold. My other uncle, Imad, stood beside us, weeping by my mother's side. But soon his own burden spilled out. Uncle Imad confessed. His wife, also possessed. It began at the start of our marriage. She was healed, but now it's returned. Every night she screams. My daughter wakes to the sound of her mother in agony. Marwa, in tears. Our whole building is haunted by demons. There is no God but God. Her words chilled me, and before I could even respond, the sheikh arrived. My mother, upon hearing the sheikh's voice, screamed in a way we had never heard, deep, monstrous. At the exact same time, our aunt's wife began screaming too, the air filled with the terrifying howls of the possessed. We began the session. Prayers, Quranic verses, desperate pleas, but nothing worked. No healing, no peace. And still to this day, we do not know why this is happening. You've heard the stories. You felt the fear. But ask yourself, why do these tales sound so familiar? Maybe because it's already happening. In your house, in your dreams, right now. Which story gave you chills? And remember, the Jinn are listening.